Kerrial, welcome to the Leanpub launch video for Symfony 6, A Practical Guide. I was wondering if you could just take a couple of minutes to talk about yourself and where you are and what you do and about your book and who it's for.
Yeah, sure. My name's Kerrial, and I'm originally from the UK. I live in Prague, very pretty city, and I lost the order of the questions, to be honest. But essentially, dive right into the book. The objective of the book and the reason why I wrote it was because finding anything really practical was kind of quite a difficult task, at least when I was, as they say, up and coming in this game. And I always kind of struggled and was really frustrated by the fact that, you know, you'd go and read the documentation about something and it would kind of give you a very unopinionated example that wasn't particularly practical, of like, well, that's great, but how can I actually use this to build something? And I'm a big fan of that kind of, learn by doing approach of like, well, how does it work? Let's take it apart and, that kind of dumb optimism that you get from trying to build things from scratch. But yeah, essentially that was where the problem existed, and then from that the solution came in the form of me figuring it out for about 7 years, something like that. My path into programming was probably a little bit unorthodox, unconventional, because I was actually teaching programming before I actually knew how to code, which was an interesting way around. But if you're a fan of the Feynman technique of learning, which I am, I also mention it in the book. It essentially teaches you to teach yourself, like you're a child, to break things down to their simplest, most understandable, if that's even a word, core concept. If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, it totally does. I really enjoyed that, the sort of introduction to your book where you talk about the Feynman technique and things like that and sort of what motivated you to write the book. Mm-hmm. I could say that it's a lot of Leanpub books are by people who are like screaming at the documentation or something like that, or like if only someone could just actually show me how to do something, which is one of the things that makes your book so good. And just for anyone watching who's unaware, what is Symfony?
That is a very good question. We talk about practicability, but don't even say what Symfony is. That's nice catch there. I guess we're all fallible, eh? So Symfony is it's a framework for PHP. Essentially, it's a collection of components. Is really what it is, because there's more to it than just a framework. It's just a big old collection of components which you can pull in and use for any kind of purpose. I think it started in about 2005. And it's a great setup. It's a great thing. But I do find that there is maybe a bit too much of a lean towards theory. It feels a bit like that you have to spend a lot of time learning, and then master Symfony, and then you can build things. Whereas the type of person is like kind of let's I don't want to, it's like, this sounds a bit bad, but I don't want to waste time with kind of internal things. I want to just get on and build other things, if that makes sense.
It totally does. It totally does. As I was saying before we started recording, it goes against my nature to try and keep conversations short, but that's what we're trying to do with these book launches.
Sorry, yeah, I'm waffling.
No, it's
I'll try and keep my answers shorter then. Sorry,
it's great.
It is later. Sorry.
Yeah, I know. Just the last thing I wanted to ask you, since I know you talk about this in your book, but a lot of Leanpub readers love talking to authors whose books they read and giving them feedback and stuff like that. How should people contact you if they want to give you feedback about your book?
As I stated in the book, the feedback So just contact me by email, basically. Kerrial Beckett Newham at gmail.com. Literally just send me an email. But there is one request, and which I do request in the book as well, is I love constructive criticism. It's how we learn, essentially, right? If we get some sort of feedback from people. But please just have a point to your email. Yeah.
I saw that. That was a battle-hardened feedback explanation. I can tell.
Something like that.
I've got a whole thing about the kind of like whenever you like go to a Stack Overflow article or something like that, the first reply is always someone who's not answering the question. They'll always be like, "Why would you want to do that in the first place?" or something like that, and it's like,
yeah,
why would you write a nonsense reply? But anyway.
Yeah,
Kerrial is very much looking for feedback. He loves really good feedback, and he's written a really good book on Symfony, Symfony 6, A Practical Guide. Please buy it. You'll like it. You'll learn a lot. It's very practical, and you'll be able to sort of start doing things right away. So thank you very much, Kerrial, for being on this book launch video.
Thank you very much for asking me. Thank you.